Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to present my research, a topic close to my heart. First time here in Prague, first time at East Prague overall. Sorry. As the title indicates, NFT Beyond the Hype, how token economy impacts creative entrepreneurship. As a disclaimer, I'm not here to shield any NFT projects or whatsoever. I'm here to present, I want to analyze this topic from a purely academic perspective. This image is the most expensive Bored Ape, sold for a whopping 3.4 million US dollar in October 2021. This was mainly the why. I mean, so many questions went to my mind. I asked myself, who does that? Why is someone creating this image? And why is even a person spending so much money on this image, on this picture? My personal motivation of doing this research is mainly rooted during my second master, which I started in summer 2021. I was just fascinated by the technology and its impact on what does it impact on the creative entrepreneurship level. The area of my research is token economy, and the research that I couldn't find many research which focus on creative entrepreneurship level. The most research is focused on technical aspect of it. The questions I want to answer is how creative entrepreneur harness token economy in their creative entrepreneurship and how this new phenomenon impact artists, designers, and creators overall. I mean, personal motivation is one aspect of it, but I personally think that my research is important because it's at the intersection of technology, creative economy, and society, and it tries to link the value and NFT enables on an individual creative entrepreneurship level. And I purely focus on creators' perspective, gain insights, feeling, knowledge, and emotions from their perspective. NFT ecosystem can be divided into two-sided marketplace. On the one side, we have the collectors, and this can be divided into people who are fan. I personally consider myself as a fan because I have deeply emotional connections to all of my NFTs. I rarely sell any of them. And then we have those flippers. Flippers are considered those basically who are flipping JPEGs left and right and from an investment perspective. But in order to buy, there are people who are creating. And these creators can artists, game developers, designers, musicians, etc. And my research mainly focus on creators, and I put them into perspective, and I want to put them a little bit on the pedestal because the crypto, Twitter, as well as social media is mainly portraying flippers and those who are fans, but less those who are creating NFTs. The first part of my research was mainly focused on the literature review, starting with what is creativity, what are creative entrepreneurs, as well as what is creative economy. Creativity can be defined anything that is useful, unique, as well as new. And creative entrepreneurs are individuals operating at the intersection of creative economy, mainly sharing it involves human creativity, technology, and ideas. And new technologies, for example, AI, virtual reality, as well as blockchain, are deeply shaping the creative economy, and this can also enable that those who are working in this sector advance work as an external enabler, whereas generating new business models. NFT, the second part of the literature review was mainly focused on the technical aspect of it, starting with the blockchain ecosystem, blockchain network, smart contract, token economy, anything that has economic value such as art, music, real estate, etc., can be tokenized. And as a token, it's one aspect of the token economy, and NFT is an application of the asset token. And my research focused mainly on NFT application of it. Here comes the how. How did I came to my conclusion and my findings? Well, in academic perspective, you can do like mainly have two strings. One is qualitative research and quantitative research. I decided to do qualitative mainly of two reasons, because qualitative is most suitable if you want to analyze a new phenomenon, NFT, as well as gain perspective from a creator's point of view, and also it's suitable, especially if you don't have like large sample size. For example, my sample size are like rather small. It's not like I have 2,000 or 5,000 creators interviews, which is why qualitative inductive approach is the most suitable for answering my research question. So far, I have analyzed 20 plus creators from all over the world. I started last August. In the meantime, I have submitted my thesis, but as mentioned at the beginning, I'm really fascinated about this topic, which is why I'm doing these features on an ongoing basis. But so far, I have interviewed 20 participants from all over the world. The average of the interview lasted like 60 minutes, like roughly an hour, only transcribed material. This is roughly 20 pages, A4 pages of material that I have transcribed, and after finding clusters and coded, and I did this pre-AI, so I haven't used any AI to analyze the data. I have conducted the interview as semi-structured. What does it mean? It's mainly that I have the interview questions with me, but I haven't handed out any of the questions to any participant. The reason why I didn't do this is it's scientifically proven that when you don't hand out the question before, the participants share more of the insights than rather than sticking to the questions and answering them. It was more of like a storytelling that I started like questions like, how did you get into the NFT ecosystem? What does NFT mean to you on a personal side? How do you get your inspiration? What motivates you? What drives you? What is the technique compared to expressing your artwork compared to before NFTs? These are the questions that I ask, and usually like I just let them talk, did storytelling without interrupting them. And most of them were really freely to open share many insights, also very raw personal information. Majority of them, I mean, I did not really had to stop the conversation unless it went really to a topic where it didn't relate to my research question. But the majority of the participants were really open, talked a lot. Some of them were a little bit hesitant in speaking, but I think it was mainly because of the language barrier and not because of the questions that I asked. The interview was conducted in English, and some of the participants, their first language was not English, which was a little bit barrier for them to speak openly and freely. And this image, okay, now we come to the findings that led to my research question. This visual illustrates mainly the journey of NFT creator. For example, you start here on the left side with the purpose. Purpose could be anything that led them in doing NFTs. It could be economic purpose because they want to have a new revenue streams. It could also be purpose because they were fascinated by the technology. It could also be purpose, for example, another creator influenced them in becoming NFT creator. Purpose could be the community that they are involved that led them doing NFTs. Procedure is anything related to the mechanism in creating the artwork as well as procedure in selling. It could be, for example, that this new phenomenon, technology, opens up new ways in expressing their creative identity compared to previously. It could also be that the selling procedure, for example, it's faster than, because if you do a painting, you don't have to wait until the painting is dry, you don't have to put the painting into a gallery to sell them. So this is all related to the procedure. Space is related to anything that they're in the different spaces. For example, economic space means the platform, the NFT platform that they're selling the artwork could impact their creative entrepreneurship. Another aspect of the space could be the technology. The smart contract, for example, if you're not very tech, I'll describe as a tech novice, it also has an impact on how you're able to create NFTs. It also impacted them in a more in a negative way compared to not using NFTs. Time, along the timeline is anything related to speed and frequency while they're doing something. For example, speed of community engagement. Some of the creators do like on a community engagement on a weekly basis, other on a monthly basis. Creating NFTs, time could also relate to how often they create NFTs compared to the previous medium that they used before. The important aspect is all of the participants that I have interviewed were artists before NFT came up. So they could really feel the difference between doing NFT, like expressing their artwork now versus compared to before NFT came into place. And which is why I think it was very interesting to see the differences. This was not a requirement that I mentioned that you need to be an artist before. I just said that you need to identify yourself as an NFT creator, irrespective of how long you're doing an NFT and also irrespective of the age and how long you have been an artist in overall. Actors or above here are, for example, other people. It could be either individuals, other creators. They have an impact on the creators itself. Other influential people, for example, especially in the crypto art NFT space, NFT influencers have a detrimental impact overall the success of an NFT project. It could also be actors. Actors could also be community that they engage with, people who support them, their fan base, etc. These all have an impact on their creative entrepreneurship. Okay, now I come to the findings. The first finding that I want to share is it's a collaborative economy. What does it mean? It means that this new phenomenon enables a togetherness in the sense that there's no middleman, there's no rigid like superior, inferior business model or structure. As a creator, you have control and access over your artwork, which enables you to efficiently monetize your creativity. It also enables, especially for underrepresented artists, that you have means and tools to participate in the overall creative creator economy. Let me share. Okay. The second aspect is definitely a paradigm shift in artistic value creation. Does that mean enables new possibilities for exploring different revenue models? And even after the pandemic, many of the artists said that they did not switch completely. They did not give up the NFT completely, but they have embedded NFT as a steady and as a reliable source of income compared to their traditional art world. And nowadays, it's like they're trying to not migrate, but they're trying to convince their fan base from the traditional artwork in the NFT artwork and have a hybrid form of fan base as well as business revenue. And it definitely empowers, as I mentioned before, underrepresented artists who have an independent way of creating artistic value for their artwork. The third finding is definitely creation process. What do I mean by that is many participants explain that they are not limited to the galleries opinion when and how they want to create the artwork. They can freely share, and they can also decide and shape the creation process. And it's a freedom they have never experienced before. And also musicians, those who are create NFT music, express that finally they were able to experiment music genre. They wouldn't have done it before NFT did not exist, because mainly purely because they were not bound to the record label, and they were also more freely in expressing and diving into music genre that they wanted to do a long time before, but they didn't have the courage in doing this. And they also said that NFT enables like an interactive media which enables audio and visual elements that leads to a more diverse artwork. The fourth finding, I personally think it's one of the most interesting. It's the community engagement. It's creating a unique experience in the sense of digital offerings. And I think NFTs, digital art existed before, and NFT is just an extension of digital art because it enables access to a community, access to utility, and the creator can use this utility to create a community. And I personally think this is the most fascinating finding that I want to share. It's not, most often we forget that digital art existed before, but the way that you as a creator can foster community and engagement and experience and a togetherness, I think this was something that basically all participants agreed that it was one of the profound impact in the whole creative entrepreneurship and being a creator itself, and something that they highly value and cherish in a way that they couldn't imagine that this technology will open up doors for them. And also has an increased transparency in the sense of if you buy an NFT, you can also influence the shape, how the sale proceeds are going to be used, whether it's for other community engagement or whether you want to support other creators. And the fifth finding is definitely something that I find it interesting. I have to smile. Is I underestimated that if you're a little bit like more on the tech novice side, I think you also struggle in creating NFTs. And this is something, it was awakening call for many participants. And I was interested to find out that those participants that I struggled to find the interview because they forgot, I mean, writing an email was already a challenge for them, or how, like speaking of like using an Excel sheet, it was very challenging for them because I think they're very purely artists. And those who have like technical less experience are also those that I struggle to find interviews, and also those that I interview went a little bit anyhow, like I have to always nudge them into, hey, answer my research questions. So I could figure out whether I could easily sense out if someone was a tech expert or tech novice by the way their communication and the interview process was set up. So this was interesting way to experience. And another challenge was definitely it has changed artist's life. What does it mean? What do I mean by this is, before an artist just created artwork and someone was doing the work for him to promote the artwork and make sure the artwork gets to those who wants to buy it. Now it is a change in his own way of being an artist by doing sales, by doing promotion, by doing marketing, also community engagement. And this was a great challenge for many artists, that they had to learn skill set and aspect of being a creator that they were not exposed before. And I think decentralization of the whole ecosystem comes with accountability, and this is something that I think they were not used before. They cherish it very much now, but something they had to learn. this is a small snippet how I derived to the findings. Basically, it's like coding, but coding not in sense of Python coding, but more coding in the sense of using a software that brings me, that I can derive teams and clusters, which I have applied to the categories. This is a small snippet of the raw data that I assign a preliminary code and then a final code. That's how I have the methodology applied to findings. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Sorry, the next step is, oh, that's been switched off. Okay. I wanted to have like a next step in case you know any NFT creators, etc. I'm very interested to do more research about it. My goal is to have like 50, 60, 70 creators, to have more data. And yes, if you know anyone, just let me know. I'll be very happy to conduct further research. And I hope you enjoy my presentation.
Thank you so much for the presentation.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yeah.
Yes, okay, go ahead.
Hey, thank you for the speech first. No, which ways do you see like for involving and engaging an artist to like NFT business?
Sorry, I don't hear you.
Okay, so is this okay?
Yeah, now it's better, sorry.
Sure. So how do you see ways of involving and engaging like new artists, like the directly artists from classical art, to like digital business? Which ways?
Okay, interesting question. So if I understand it correctly, you want to know how classical artists can be motivated or brought into doing and creating NFTs.
Yeah, because they could be like. Because they could be not. Because they could be not interested in it. Because they are like could be an artist, and that's good for them. So and you as an like a businessman, like you doing business in NFT and crypto, you're seeing a potential in them to doing business with them, you know?
I think people need to, you need to be personally, I think, motivated. I mean, if someone is not fascinated by this technology or by this new phenomenon, then I think it's very difficult to convince them unless you say, okay, you can do like economic purpose, get more, like have an additional income stream, being less dependent on the traditional artwork. This could be a factor that you can definitely present and say, hey, look, if you jump on the NFT, like if you come to the ecosystem, you don't put all your eggs in one basket by just being reliable, dependent on one income stream, and just open up this opportunity. Definitely, this might be motivation. You can also motivate by saying that, hey, then you have more control over how and when you want to do your artwork. You have more ownership and control. This is, I think, I would motivate. I would maybe provide these two solutions, but at the end, the person needs to he needs to do this on a voluntary basis.
Cool. Thank you so much. We don't have time for more questions, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can ask questions later on. I'm around.
Well,
thank you.